he misses the good part, and he keeps doing that, and it's very funny. Hey, welcome to, I don't know if you want to, that's a long intro, but welcome to the show, the Hot Funny Meme Show.
Yes, we're back. We're going to keep doing it. We're just going to keep doing it.
Hey.
A little surprised to see no comments.
What the hell?
What we asked.
What are you doing?
In the comments down below, explain why you didn't write a comment, perhaps.
Where are you? What are you doing?
People are watching this, and no one is commenting. And I don't have a reason to comment after 15 times of watching myself.
No.
But the other 5,
Yeah.
they
What's
should
up
have
with
commented.
them?
Yeah. So the 5 people, was that you? Was it you?
I was the other 4. There's at least one more person who watched it, who at least clicked on the video, and I didn't look to see how long they watched. So anyway, please comment down below. That's the kind of the gist of the message that we're trying to get at here.
Today we are talking about Borat 2. Talking about Borat 2. Film just came out just before the American election.
Yeah, the U.S. presidential election. I forget who was in that election. Who was that again? It was John Cusack.
It was John C. Reilly.
Okay.
Yes.
And
People get those two mixed up frequently.
And it was, who was the other guy? The guy.
It was the kid from One Direction.
No, it was the guy, the Crypt Keeper from that show with the Crypt Keeper. I think it's just called the Crypt Keeper.
The guy that introduces the...
Yeah.
That's right. I often get Harry
Joe
Styles.
Biden.
That's it.
That's who I'm thinking of.
And the Crypt Keeper won.
And the Crypt Keeper won. He kind of looks like that guy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A little
I never
bit.
really thought of that.
Is it Creep Tale or Creep Story?
Stories from the Crypt?
Yeah. Maybe, yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. Tales from the Crypt?
We're going to put a picture of it right now. That's the guy we're thinking of. And
I'm so glad we did that because I couldn't remember until I saw that.
yeah. And to be honest, I was having trouble before watching Borat. Who was running for president against the Crypt Keeper? And I was like, who is it? Who's this guy? I keep forgetting. And then I remembered Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. He was, he kind of came out of nowhere, didn't he? He was kind of an unknown.
He was, I think he owned a pickle farm in Wisconsin.
He's
Trump pickles.
He's from that pickle money.
That old pickle money.
Yeah, it's an old rich.
It's an old rich, and it's a good rich.
Yeah, it's a sustainable rich.
It's good rich, and it's good rich for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we're joking. This is a big ha-ha joke show. Let's stop that now.
Here's the honest truth. I probably laughed more right now than I did on my second. Here's the thing. I watched Borat 2 times. The first time was just to watch it, and the second time was
to laugh at it.
Was to laugh at it in preparation for this episode. And I don't think I laughed once. I think I laughed maybe once.
Now, I got to push back on this.
Okay.
This is a funny movie.
Okay.
Borat Subsequent Movie Film it had me laughing, but I do have a caveat we have to discuss as part of my laughter, which was I watched about an hour's worth of Patrice O'Neal stand-up comedy, like kind of right before that.
So you were warmed up.
I was really warm.
Right.
Yeah, I had been laughing already. I was ready to laugh. So
you know what I did
what?
Leading up to it was I watched probably an hour's worth of Chris Farley videos.
Really?
Because I wanted to, because after our conversation on our top influential comedians,
yeah,
I was like, God, I want to watch some of these scenes that Troy's talking about, the interviews. I found the one with the curtain.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's running around as the motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And so I was all geared up. I was really enjoying that.
You're laughing.
I was laughing. I was having a good time. I was warmed up.
Yeah.
It didn't help me with Borat.
Wow, okay.
It's very physical, that comedy
Yeah.
sometimes,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't play for me. So it sounds like we might be on a little bit opposite ends. I think you might be. Well, let's just see how this rolls out.
Well, yeah. I mean, So what happened with me was, I mean, I'll tell you this much, and I think you'd be in agreement with me. The first Borat film, very funny.
Absolutely.
And obviously, changed. Did it change the game? Kind of. It was a landmark film. It was an iconic film for that time. I remember going to the theater and like I couldn't breathe. It was like I couldn't breathe laughing at times.
That was right on the heels of the Ali G movie In the House.
Yeah.
Which was for a lot of people their first kind of
their first taste of Sacha Baron Cohen. I mean, like that. He had sort of this underground following building from Ali G show, and then Borat was a character on that
That's
show,
right.
Along with the Bruno guy. I think he was also a character. All of the movies that he's done, they were characters on the show, the Ali G show, and the TV bits were quite funny too. It was it felt very new and unique and like fresh and like. It was funny,
It was great, yeah. Especially at the time, I was living in England when that show came out.
Oh wow! Okay,
and it was very much every kid that wasn't even allowed to watch it knew about it.
Yeah,
and we all, because I never watched an episode as a kid, I wasn't allowed.
Yeah,
but we were all like walking around, like doing this, like we knew, like we knew the show, right?
Yeah.
So, and dressing like it. He's very much an analogy. He's very much dressed like a lot of English people of that time.
Right, yeah.
So, anyway.
So I guess to go along with that, I like the first one. So I went into the second one with I like the first one. Therefore, I mean, like, it had everything going for it for me to be like, this is a funny film. And to be honest, yeah, I was laughing. I'm laughing throughout the film pretty much. You didn't laugh at I'm trying to think of the bits that made me laugh. His daughter's kind of funny.
She is probably
the guy falling out of the window in the beginning is like, after the stock market crash,
yeah,
they jump from the highest building, and it's like a 2-story building. That didn't get you?
No. Here's the thing. A good measuring stick for me is the first view to the second viewing of something. What am I still laughing at? And I find that's the stuff that I think is really good.
Yeah.
So I laughed quite a lot the first time when it was my first time seeing it.
Yeah.
My first issue with the film was the rehashing of old material right out of the gate, which is the first. Probably it's very quick. It's like the first 15 minutes of the film.
Yeah,
is very much like the gypsy tears stuff.
That's right.
The
running of the Jew,
thing, him wearing that leotard thing when he's on the thing.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. Just the things he says. Mm-hmm. It's all very much, which is I get it. I get why they're doing that, and they're opening with it, so they're getting it out of the way.
Yeah,
that's fine. But within that chunk of time, they have these new jokes, which are things like the guy falling off of the thing, but it's very much like it seems like an easy joke to make, like, oh, the joke is that the building's not that tall.
Yeah,
okay,
but the punchline of the guy hitting the ground is that alone, that's like America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah,
that's gonna make me laugh.
Could you? Yeah, well, it's
and you were just like, no.
I didn't. I just didn't. It just didn't catch me the second time. I think that I was too maybe in my head with everything on either side of that joke being the rehashing stuff. But I guess I would concede and say that is maybe the funniest part of that opening.
Can we talk? Is this a good time, or should we bring it up later? Should we talk about your snobbery?
Hit me, man. Let's talk about it.
You're a comedy snob. You don't give. I don't. You're hard on things. You're very like, and I get it. I used to be more like that than I am now, but I think maybe you still have that. Like, you're hard on. You have high expectations of comedy. Not a bad thing, but it is what it is.
It is what it is because laughter is involuntary, so I can't.
That's
If
true.
I laugh at it, it works for me. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
it's not. It's still subjective. It's still like, I'm not saying that this isn't funny. It's just not
Yeah.
for me. It's not
Did you
high enough. It's
Did
not
you
hitting
smile? Were you smiling? At
Yeah, like a lot
you
of
like-
the film I was smiling,
Okay.
which is that's
The sub laughter.
sad. Yeah, sad for me that's a good thing. When I'm smiling,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this
Yeah.
is still getting me to smile. It's
Right.
great, you know?
Yeah. I'll say this though. I saw it once when it came out,
Mhm.
and then I started watching it again last night. I didn't make it through it. I didn't watch the whole thing
It's a slog.
because I didn't want to.
Right. Okay, so
I made it
I did.
like 15 minutes in. I could imagine myself by the end of the movie just being like, just sitting there like,
I went to the
You know.
washroom and I didn't pause it.
yeah,
Does that make
I threw
sense?
it on. I think I was working out in the background. I made some dinner. So yeah, like it's not a movie I wanted to watch again. It wasn't
Yeah.
like,
What are
You know.
Okay, give me a highlight of the film for a joke for you.
okay, here we go. Highlight of the film for a joke. So here's the thing. I kind of wish I would have held on, kept watching. The cringe got me this time more than like it's just the cringiness, the unpleasantness of like the girl in the
Dancing?
that was pretty. It was cringe and it was like ugh.
Yeah, that's
But what got me was her in the bathroom, and like, I want to push the baby out, it's,
That got you,
it's
that-
your baby. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. Like,
right.
so I just watched something else. But yeah, and then like the whole like, oh, it's incest. It's incest, and they're tricking the doctor into, thinking they were incestuous.
See, that's the thing
I
is
don't know.
that I believe that good comedy has like a good shelf life. And
Yeah.
you once on your first one, you were kind of you were excited about how that they were talking with this. I think it was a pastor.
Yeah,
You're talking with this pastor and how that they were using words to mislead. And it was kind of maybe the first time you watched it was like, oh, that was the perfect way of saying that. You've done really good writing this, right? Bravo. But after that, I don't think it holds up. After that.
You know what it is? It's the difference between like guy falling out of the window versus like my daughter and I we're incestuous, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like this is like crazy versus this is really funny.
Right.
And a lot of that movie was like, this is crazy. Oh my gosh. It was like, oh, and I don't. Excuse me. There's just something about like. This time around, like a lot of the humor is based on tricking people, right? It's like
Right.
catching people. It's like, look how stupid these Americans are for being tricked by this character. How could they possibly be tricked? It's like taking advantage of like people's politeness. People are just like polite to the guy. And like for some of those, like when they're talking about like how many gypsies will it take, could we kill with this tank of gas? And the guy's like 2. I think he's playing along,
So I remember, I don't even remember this, but it may have been after watching Borat, the first one.
Yeah.
But we tried doing this. Do you remember this?
Like pranking
people.
Yeah.
Do you remember doing this? And it
Of course I did.
remember the knife shop?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Troy and I, this is like we're early to late teens, I guess. Well, I guess it'd be late teens for Borat. Yeah. So
End of high school, like 16.
yeah, we go to the mall. We're still trying to learn how to be funny.
Talk about influential comedy, though.
Totally.
We watch Borat, and then we're like, let's go do that.
Yeah. And we so maybe it's only funny if it happens to you. Because like I fondly remember this story.
Yeah.
We went to a knife shop and we were trying all these things. We went to Bath and Body Works to do a thing.
Yeah.
We went to
So we did this.
We did it, right?
We did not just that we did what he was doing, but we made the same joke that he made at the knife shop. Tell the story of the knife shop.
Yeah. So basically, we went to the knife shop and we looked at the guy and we were staying as straight as we could, and we said, what's the best knife to kill a man with? And the reason that this is a good story for like it's a successful story to us is the guy looks at us and he like very blanketly says the cleaver, you know.
Yeah.
He points to like a meat cleaver in the show.
He's like, because keep in mind, we like before this we went to like the health store and we're like, how can we get some steroids? And he's like, get out right now, get out. And we're like, okay.
Yeah, almost like he was saying like, I saw Borat, leave. You know, like I'm not falling, but you're the sixth person today to try this. But I think that. Okay, so the reason that story is a success is because the owner said the dumb thing that
he played along.
So he said the dumb thing, and if we were recording, it'd be like, okay, that was a successful prank, right? Which is what Sacha is doing in his films. I'm sure he's doing this a lot, and the successful ones, the ones where the people play along, like the gypsy with the gas tank. That's a successful take of it.
Do you think it was real? Like, there's no way that it was real.
I think it could be real. Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah, I believe. I believe it's real.
Anytime I saw someone who sort of like played, I think the doctor was real because he's like, that's, you know, he's just trying to deal with this. The pastor, doctor with like the abortion thing. That seemed kind of real to me.
The reason I think it's real is because we've done it. I know, like, we've successfully done that. Not to that extreme.
No, but that guy in the knife shop, and I think the guy in the movie, I think he was being ironic. They were both being ironic. Like, they weren't actually fooled by, like...
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy in the knife shop, the guy in the, in the supply store, they both saw what was happening, played in on the joke. That was sort of the vibe that I got.
I don't think that camera's hidden. So
yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, you're probably right. The point that I'm making though is that the reason that I fondly think of this knife shop story is because it happened to us. So, and that's why I don't think that this type of cringe comedy works for me, because it's somebody else doing it. I don't think that, like, if you have a personal story that you can tell your friends, like, this is this crazy thing I did.
Yeah.
You've got that love surrounding that story because it's with people you know, and it's a place that's familiar to you. But watching it, I don't think it sells as well as it used to, which is a part of, I don't think that, so this, a theory that I've got when it comes to comedians is that because people often say things like, Adam Sandler's not funny anymore, or like, I don't really like his movies, or David Spade's not funny anymore, or and it's not that they're not funny anymore, it's that the market for comedy has just shifted to like whoever's big now. So they're still doing the same stuff. Yeah. They only know their thing. Adam Sandler knows his thing to do, and it's as good as he can do it, and once when there was an audience for it, it was best. Now the audience it's still there, but it's shifted to, like, it went to, like, Seth Rogen and that group, and then it's shifted, Will Ferrell, all this kind of stuff. But and so I think that Sacha Baron Cohen's style of comedy is now dated. It's just it's just out of place now, and that's why I think a big reason why the second film doesn't. It's the same stuff. You should like it. Yeah. But because the environment around comedy has shifted. Does that make any sense?
It does. I think it does definitely play a part in it. I think for me, the bigger thing is, especially like, so with prank humor, it works really only when the people don't know that they're being, like, they don't realize that it is a prank.
Right.
And I think more people in this film were like playing along with it, or they're like, oh, this is a wacky guy. Like, I think they were just playing along.
Almost like a hypnotist.
Yeah, they're a part. Yeah, exactly. They're part of the show. They're part of the irony. They've bought into the irony of it, and they're, it's the funniest parts are when, and it's just, here's the thing, like, as time has progressed, we've all become savvier as consumers of comedy and like prank stuff, and we know kind of how the sausage gets made, as a general audience, and so we're just like not as wowed by the format, like you were saying. Like, maybe we've moved on from it,
right?
to whatever else, to whatever it is now. I don't even know what the comedy landscape. Probably more stand-up comedy. Like, I mean, this is kind of an aside, but like the comedy film is like, what happened to it? I can't think of like a great comedy film in the last that wasn't also like an Avengers movie or a Marvel or a, comedy gets put into other films now without being specifically, here's a wacky, like a Dumb and Dumber.
And it's interesting that comedy is funnier. And I mean, it is.
Yeah.
An Avengers film where you're not expecting a joke.
Yeah.
And it gets a joke. It's like a good joke. It's like it's funny. It really catches you.
Yeah.
But when you go into it being like, this is a comedy, and you put on that kind of that cap of like,
me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that problem. So another thing I wanted to talk about was the dance scene where obviously his daughter is on her period, and they do this cultural dance for I can't remember why they're doing the dance. I guess
it's at a ball. It's like it was like a belle of the Southern ball thing.
Right. It's like about matching
Yeah.
people. Okay. So this reminded me of kind of a lesson that you had taught me, or something that we had discussed. I'm not sure if you want to go into this because I'm not sure if you still plan to do this, but you had written a sketch with the ring. And
yeah.
Do you want to? Can we talk about it?
Sure.
Or do you kind of do it. So Troy had written this sketch, and I'll just talk briefly about it. Where, in a nutshell, this guy has a ring. He wants to propose to. Why don't you? I shouldn't be telling this.
Well, the sketch is essentially it's a first date, and it's like the guy thinks it's going a lot better than it actually is. The girl is like whatever about it, and he's just like, you know what? I think this is going really well. I've got something for you. And then she's like, what is it? And he's like, hold on. And then he like cuts his stomach open and like reaches inside, pulls out a ring, a wedding ring. And then she's, that's sort of, and then she's like, is that a blood diamond? He's like, I don't know. Ha, funny joke.
Okay. So, I love this sketch idea, because I love extreme things in comedy. Like, it excites me when things are just like crazy. Mildly, it's the same idea as the guy jumping and hitting the thing.
Yeah.
So the problem with the sketch was that's a lot to put on an audience. It's not for everyone. So the idea of this guy cutting open his stomach, even though, I mean, you'd have to make it look really fake to try to kind of deflate like the sensitivity to watching someone mutilate themselves like that. I think at the end of the day, we just realized it's either too much effort or it can't be done. And
you couldn't sell it without making it really bloody, really gory. And then it's just like, now you're making a mess. There's technical components. Like, you're going to make a mess if you're going to do that.
But you could really turn people off because of it. Right.
Yeah.
So, with that lesson in mind, when I watched this scene with the blood and it's kind of everywhere around her, that's kind of how I felt, that they had gone a little too far. And I don't like to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not like saying artistically they should be able to do what they want.
Yeah.
But I think
comedically,
I think that they went just a little bit too far graphically, and that pulls you back, because it's not like a it's like a and that like is not great for comedy. And certainly if your aim was to get a laugh there, you handicapped yourself by creating such a graphic image for the viewer.
Yeah, I agree. You really have to, there's a juice versus squeeze measurement that you have to take, when you're doing a joke like that, in terms of like, and this is just exactly what you're saying, like the graphicness of a joke. Like, is the risk that you're taking of alienating people worth the laugh that you could potentially get out of it? And that is, it's like a risky, the more graphic and the more hard something is to watch, potentially the higher the laugh could be. But there, like you said, there is a threshold where if you cross it, you're going to probably lose most people. And so that for you was that moment.
That moment definitely And
Like, it wasn't funny enough for how gross it was.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, everything surround like a dance is not really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that dance wasn't that funny.
And all of their reactions were like the audience's reactions too.
Totally.
They're just like, okay.
Right.
It was like, what are you doing? And not in like a funny way. It was just like, it's like, stop. Just stop it. You're embarrassing
I'm done
yourself.
with that. Yeah.
And like, we're like, we get it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think they were, I think they were truly baffled in that instance by what was happening in the film, the people getting pranked. But the honesty of it still wasn't enough to make it like worth the laugh.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you in that situation. Like, there weren't a lot of, maybe we can go through like the highlights of the film and
that's
kind of what you're doing. Yeah. So,
So before we move on, I know you're not going to do it. Please comment. I would actually really like to know for my own, so I can sleep at night. Did you find that scene funny? I'd really like to hear some discussion in the comments. At least defending it, I would love to hear. So what?
please don't comment in the comments.
Good. I like that. We're keeping it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now if they don't, it's like
They'll be like,
they did what
screw you.
Yeah.
I'm going to comment.
Yeah. Or they're going to be like, Troy's right. We like his, and we're not going to comment. And then we're going to know that people are listening to you.
Rally around me, children.
Okay, so give me another highlight. Or I guess what we would perceive would be the highlights of.
Yeah. The thing, I don't even like, I barely want to talk about this, but when he stays with the two guys and they're like QAnon dudes, and they're like,
I don't think there's any evidence that they're QAnon dudes. I don't know what QAnon is. The idea that
they were QAnon dudes.
I don't know what QAnon.
So QAnon is for those of you at home, QAnon Corner. QAnon Corner. Here we are, and QAnon is the belief that Trump was like the savior of the world. That he was going to put Hillary Clinton in jail.
Okay.
That the Earth is flat.
Then they are.
That aliens, the world is run by lizard people, that sort of thing. It's sort of this umbrella term for a lot of different conspiracy theories.
I wonder if there's a line.
Epstein is in there, so it's like you get a little Epstein, which is like true. That's a true conspiracy.
Right.
And then you get like the lizard people. So it's like it's all mixed in, and it's
right.
It's easy to get confused, you know what I'm saying?
All right, so the QAnon guys. So
like a Q tattoo. Can't wait.
I hold up a Q card.
Yeah.
We're not that thing. I don't even know what it is. That part of the film.
I did not like it. Yeah, I just felt like they were taking advantage of these nice guys. I don't know. They just seemed like nice guys. I don't know. And it wasn't really funny. It was like him running around there, just being annoying to them.
Yeah, I thought that those were some of the weakest jokes in the. And I'm looking at it like whether he was making fun of them or taking advantage of them. He kind of does that pretty much throughout the film. So I'm not.
Yeah, that's the whole concept.
But as far as the jokes are concerned, we've got things like he accidentally orders fleshlights. Okay.
Right.
He's hitting the virus with a pan. He's
not
wearing
funny.
Yeah, he's wearing this thing while he's working out that,
homoeroticism.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. It's 2020.
Okay. It's kind of like they're all weak jokes.
Even for like the rednecks, they were like, okay, like it's fine,
Yeah, and that's a part of me that's like very much when we talk about actors, like who we assume are actors, I think they've gone on record saying like these are not actors, these are real people. But it's like a lot of that stuff, like he's working out, the guy's on the computer, and he's working out with this thing like this close to his face. Now, I don't care who you are. If someone was doing that to me, I'd be like, get out of here.
Yeah,
I don't want that in my.
Yeah, you can't do that.
There wouldn't be a second of it, and he does 15 seconds of it. I'd be like, can you not? Or I had comment on it.
Yeah.
There's none of that, and like a part of me, I'm a little suspicious.
Especially those guys too. Like
Totally.
those guys would say something.
They wouldn't like that. I don't think.
Yeah. Should we talk about the big one, which is Giuliani?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I'm looking at is it funny? That's my
Yeah.
That's my filter for it.
No.
Not funny. It's not funny. It's not. I guess the only real comedy in it is him barging in with the wearing the lingerie.
Yeah.
And he has the line something like, she's too old, take me, or she's something like that.
She's 14. She's too old. Take me.
And by that point, we had kind of exhausted lines like that.
Yeah.
In the film.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't big enough for me because it really is the finale of the film.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't big enough.
Or the whole premise of it didn't really make me laugh. Like it made me cringe, and it made me like, oh, Giuliani, what are you doing?
Right.
What is happening here? Like, is he really doing that kind of a thing? But it wasn't like, it wasn't like hilarious. It really wasn't funny at all, like you said. But
see, like, I actually found some of the best bits of the film were the stuff that were more film and less documentary based. So like him in his village, or him with the daughter, where it's clearly it's a set piece to them, and they're just doing jokes with each other, right?
Yeah,
and it's very they're talking about the story, and like they're moving the story along, right? The stuff where it's like documentary based, which means that they're pranking someone.
Yeah,
this, like, if you take it in the context of that, the Rudy Giuliani thing was good because it's just the best one, or it's the highest figure of the people that they did. So they got to that point. So and it stayed pretty much consistent for what they were doing, which is try to make this first person feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
All right. But that's not the stuff that I liked in the film.
Yeah.
The stuff that I liked
humor-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the stuff that worked for me. It's those who haven't seen the film. I don't care. Go watch it. It turns out that he's the cause of the virus, and he gets to use, and he has a very kind of like horrible bosses moment with the car with the phone kind of thing. Unimaginative. I've seen it before. South Park made like that joke already. And it's just a kind of a meh ending. But I was happy that it ended at that point. So they could have done. And really their finale was the Giuliani thing, I think. I think that this was just a way to wrap up this kind of story that they had. Like they had just enough story. The
loose narrative.
Yeah, they had this like story running parallel to like what they wanted to do was make fun of Americans.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of close off this story, right? And that was Borat for me. Rating out of 5.
2.5. I give it a 50%.
I'd give it a 1.5. 1.5 to 2.
Okay,
that would be mine.
Yeah.
Well, I think
not much else to say. I think we covered it. You know? And hopefully, let us know what you think. What did you think of Borat's subsequent movie film? Was it good? Was it as good as the first? Was it worse than the first? Probably. But let us know down below in the comments.
If you want to. Just subscribe. So just subscribe for more endings to things. Because we'll be doing an ending on every video.
And we guarantee every video will have an ending.
Absolutely. That's our promise to you, that there will be an end every video.
What if we just like ended the video like mid-sentence? All right, guys. Catch you in the next video.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Oh, we're doing the thing.
You have to do it this time.
I've got to do the thing.
Do a thing.
Hey, Troy.
Yeah?
As an authority on women getting pregnant, what do you think is the best?
The best.
What do you think mothers should know before getting pregnant?
First thing you need to know is that raccoon gizzards are very nutritional for the baby. And it should be its first meal out of the womb.
What's the quantity of gizzards that you should have?
of all the gizzards you could feed a baby.
Whatever the baby can handle at that age is the correct amount of gizzard.
And what you should do is place the gizzard of several animals in front of the child, and whatever it crawls to, that's what it will
I think
become.
this is the same method they use to determine babies they're allergic to, right?
I thought you were going to say star sign.
Throw nuts on the ground. And you know.
Yeah. And also you throw bones and sage on the ground, and that's it.